Section 14. Education. Political tools such as physical force and authoritarian laws are necessary tools for a dictatorship, but long-term control of a people also requires control of their minds. The Nazis recognized this and made reshaping Germany's educational system a priority. They already had a good head start. When the National Socialists came to power in 1933, about 2.5 million Germans were members of the Nazi Party. 7% of the party's members were from the upper class, 7% were peasants, 35% were industrial workers, and 51% were from the professional and middle class. Surprisingly, in the latter group, the professional and middle class, the largest occupational group represented was elementary school teachers. Hitler and the National Socialists thus already had a core group of committed followers in a position to help them shape the minds of the next generation. The general purpose of education. The Nazis had a particular kind of youth in mind. As early as 1925, Hitler had written in Mein Kampf, quote, "The folkish state must not adjust its entire educational work primarily to the inoculation of mere knowledge, but to the breeding of absolutely healthy bodies. The training of mental abilities is only secondary." Unquote. Come 1933 and power, Hitler repeatedly made it even clearer what kind of healthy bodies he wanted the educational system to produce. Quote, "My program for educating youth is hard. Weakness must be hammered away. In my castles of the Teutonic Order, a youth will grow up before which the world will tremble. I want a brutal, domineering, fearless, cruel youth. Youth must be all that. It must bear pain. There must be nothing weak and gentle about it. The free, splendid beast of prey must once again flash from its eyes. That's how I will eradicate thousands of years of human domestication. That is how I will create the new order." Unquote. Intellectual training was less emphasized than physical training, but it was not omitted. Students were trained in Nazi ideology, studied German history from a National Socialist perspective, learned political activism, and trained themselves to develop a selfless, obedient, duty-oriented moral character. The curriculum was revised, textbooks were rewritten, and teachers were trained as servants of the cause. Early in the Nazi reign, teachers were declared to be civil servants and required to join the National Socialist Teachers League, swearing an oath of absolute fidelity to Adolf Hitler. The Hitler Youth. In addition to transforming the formal school system, the Nazis put great emphasis on the Hitler Youth Organization. The Nazi Party's youth organization had been formed in 1922, early in the party's history, and acquired its Hitler Youth name in 1926. The purpose of the Hitler Youth was to train a cadre of devoted young followers outside of the formal school system. Once the Nazis came to power, the formal German school system and the Hitler Youth became complementary training and indoctrination programs. Boys could enter the program when they were age 6, though official training began at age 10. All members of the Hitler Youth swore this oath. Quote, "In the presence of this blood banner which represents our Führer, I swear to devote all my energies and my strength to the savior of our country, Adolf Hitler. I am ready and willing to give up my life for him, so help me God." Unquote. Full membership and systematic training began at age 14 and included the ability to take a physical beating without whining. Brutal fighting sessions among the boys were common and encouraged. As Hitler had put it in Mein Kampf, quote, "But above all, the young, healthy body must learn also to suffer blows." Unquote. If a boy was unable to withstand the pain or pressure, he was embarrassed in front of his peers. Those who succeeded, though, received accolades, a sense of belonging to a great cause, and useful symbols of their status, such as a special dagger. Parallel programs existed for girls. The League of Young Girls was established for girls 10 to 14 years of age. The 14 to 18-year-old girls group of the Hitler Youth was the Bund Deutscher Mädel, or League of German Girls. From 17 to 21 years of age, young Aryan women were members of Faith and Beauty. Instruction focused on home, family, and the duty to bear children. The girls' training was similar to the boys', including wearing military-style uniforms, engaging in soldier-like activities, and learning Nazi ideology and activism. Although the youth were encouraged to question their parents and their non-Nazi teachers, within the Hitler Youth, absolute obedience was demanded. Despite this, membership in the Hitler Youth was appealing to many young Germans. Summer camps and parades were regular activities for the Hitler Youth. There was also the feeling of camaraderie and the sense of developing a sense of self-discipline, loyalty, and honor. Membership came to be considered to be a badge of honor. And as the Nazi Party came closer to achieving power, membership even became a status symbol. In 1932, the year before the Nazis came to power, the Hitler Youth had 107,956 members, or 5% of the German youth population. Within a year, membership had swollen to well over 2 million members. In 1936, membership in the Hitler Youth became mandatory. All other youth groups had ceased to exist, being absorbed into the Hitler Youth, or abolished. And by 1939, the year that World War II was to begin, membership in the Hitler Youth reached almost 8 million members. The universities. The Nazis had also achieved great success with older students, those of university age. Well before Hitler came to power, Nazi student groups existed at universities all over Germany. Before 1933, it was common for students to come to classes wearing brown shirts and swastika armbands, and in many cases it was the most intelligent and idealistic university students who were the most activist and outspoken supporters of National Socialism. The students also had many allies among their professors. When the National Socialists took power, they prohibited all Jews from holding academic positions. This resulted in the firing of hundreds of tenured Jewish professors, including several Nobel laureates. To their credit, many other professors resigned in protest or emigrated, but such professors were in the small minority. A large majority of university professors remained on the job, either silently accepting the new regime or even actively supporting it. In 1933, for example, 960 professors, including prominent figures such as Martin Heidegger, made a public proclamation of their support for Adolf Hitler and the National Socialist regime.